All right, looks like I'm live. So, in this session, I would love to walk you through a little bit of price psychology. And here's what I mean. Pricing is an important part of every business. The reason that pricing is an important part of every business because that's how we make money. Pricing your product or service using price psychology is super cool because you get to charge more often and work less. But first and foremost, you get to display um, value that your product or service provides to your client and make sure that in their brain there is that match of value received to the price. So every week I will take the time, actually several times a week, I'll take the time to walk you through a little nugget of wisdom when it comes to pricing. And this week, this Friday, I want to get you started. When it comes to pricing, sometimes maybe you're a creative or a mom or someone who's starting a side hustle or a business or anything in between, you will eventually have a question of how much to charge. And the purpose of me sharing this information with you tonight, I guess, is to help you avoid going through the motions for a year and a year later find out that you're not charging enough and losing money. If you use pricing properly, pricing strategies properly, you will be profitable. You'll build a profitable business that actually allows you to build the life that you want. So when you're starting on your pricing journey, and don't get me wrong, I was in the same bucket before. When I just started my own tax practice, I didn't know what to charge, and I ended up charging very little. And that was affecting my being busy and not really reflecting proportionally in my bank account. So I don't want you to make the same mistake. So when you're thinking of running a workshop or a class or selling cookies, come up with the main strategy first. Pick a camp. And there are two camps out there. Camp number one is low price leadership. We all know companies that compete on price. And when it comes to competing on price, your goal is to have high volume and cut costs at all times. So think Walmart, IKEA, Southwest Airlines. When we talk about the second camp, it's high value differentiation. All companies are different because it's no longer about the volume. It's about what value you provide to your customer. Do you fill a gap that was there? Do you fill a void? Do you help someone get through some event in their life, a business or career or whatever, quicker? Do you want to help them maybe take their business to the next level, help them streamline their operations? Whatever the solution it is that you provide, picking a camp is important. When I went for my MBA degree, we had a bunch of cases, Harvard Business School cases. And one of the cases was a British company that came to the United States market and actually failed in that market and kind of curbed losses and left because they could never make up their mind. It was easier in a smaller country for them to make up their mind. Oh, I'm a little grocery store. I'm a little ready meals. I'm a supermarket. But in the United States, that approach didn't work. United States consumers couldn't understand why, like who this company is. Are they ready meals or are they grocery chain or are they supermarkets? Like, who are they? So you have to know exactly who you are, what you do, and how you're going to price. Do you want to be the cheapest thing on the block? Fine, that's a strategy. There's nothing wrong with that. But just know that your business strategy will be different from those who have high value differentiation. And think about computers. You can get a computer for $300. You can get it for $200. But if you want to get top of the line, beautiful looking computer, you get an Apple computer, and they charge a premium price for their brand. So tip number one for this week is to pick a camp. Are you going to compete on price, or will you develop your value? And what is that value? Will the customer be willing to pay for it? And why would they buy from you? So take a few minutes and write down, brainstorm on what you are planning to do and how you would approach it. And here's the thing. When you develop a price for a workshop or a product that you sell, make sure that you know how much money you're making on each sale. It requires some calculation for sure, but it's job that you will be thankful that you just accomplished or did or performed the task that you performed. So I suggest running some numbers and understanding whether $35 for a workshop that you were thinking of doing is actually going to help you cover the material costs, cover your time, travel to the location if and when we have travel to locations. All of those costs play into your bottom line. So I want to encourage you to think about it. And a few things that I will offer you also today is when you have a product to sell, a widget or whatever, what you would do with a product is develop a series of upsells. Notice how when we used to buy phones at a Verizon store, for example, they would always offer you a lower priced accessory package, usually at 20 to 30% off. That's an upsell strategy, and it works really well with products because when you buy a product for a higher price point, everything else seems cheaper if it's significantly less money. So you keep buying more and you walk out of that store with a phone, with a headphone or whatever, with a holster, and basically spend much more money. So it's a very smart strategy to use in your business when you sell a product. When you sell a service, a 3-package approach is best. And that applies to software products, services as well. 3 seems to be the ultimate number because when you have 4, customers are confused. They don't know which one is best for them. When you have 2, customers feel like they are forced to make a choice between a yes or a no, and they end up not choosing. 3 statistically has been shown to be a great option, and I encourage you to explore that too. I'll give you a quick example. When I went for coaching, and this was about 3 years ago, I never had any options or service levels or packages. And because of that, I actually shot myself in the foot because I never really developed value to offer to clients that want to pay more, that can pay more because they want more service. Think of it this way: an all-inclusive resort. It's for a certain kind of people who don't want to worry about, paying for this or that, or paying for an additional meal or a trip or whatever. Same thing with the accounting services. There are people who just want to hire someone competent who can do a great job, save them money on tax, get their bookkeeping done, whatever. And they are willing to pay for the all-inclusive option. Why would you not have that option? So as of 3 years ago, I already do have those options, and I am very clear as to how many clients of each level of service I can take on during 1 month, let's say. That 3 levels of service is very powerful because it allows you to discriminate, and it's not a great word, but that's the term, price discriminate, which means that there will always be people who will want an all-inclusive option. But there will always be people who will want to work with you but won't be able to afford you. And having a low-priced option that gives them some value can be an entry point for them into your brand. So even though I'm not a marketing professional by any means, I think that it's a great approach to have 3 options for your service. The middle option will be purchased 60% of the time, so keep that in mind when you're designing your middle option. Middle option should be always priced with your target profit in mind because you will be selling mostly that option. You always also should develop built-in value into that middle option so that people are actually willing to buy that option. It's attractive to them. It's great value, but also a decent price. I certainly have that in my tax practice, and I think that it's a great approach to have that in yours as well. Now, I usually do these pricing rooms and sort of coaching. It's like a 2-minute laser coaching or whatever on Clubhouse. So if you are in Clubhouse, find me. My name there is obviously Tatiana Tsoir. So you can find me on Clubhouse, and If you listen to one of my groups, and sometimes I have them on different topics, you can get my latest notes from the most recent room that I ran by going to tatianatsoir.com/clubhouse /club, and you can sign up and get my latest notes on price psychology. So you can get these tips and more by going to that. So that's it for today. I will see you next week, and I want to know if this was useful. Leave a comment below, and I'll see you soon.